We haven't talked about the Tico stuff. Are we talking about that at all?
What, her being on OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
She's just, I vaguely saw that. She's just sucking dick, right?
Is she?
Oh, I don't know. I only saw your thumbnail.
No, she was eating pussy.
Oh, no, son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Another edition.
Eating pussy in the shower.
KFC Radio podcast on the Barstool Sports Network, live from Feidelberg's garage. It's like I made a pilgrimage here. You know, it's like there's that window he was throwing condoms out of. You know?
Not me, my brother. That window.
Yeah, sure.
No, I fucking put him in Gatorade bottles. I was an adult. Mature.
God, that must smell terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. Today's episode is brought to you by Miller Lite. It's Memorial Day. It's time to kick back, have a cold one. John's drinking a Miller Lite. I am cripplingly hungover.
I've never seen a person as hungover as Kevin is. It's crazy.
4 p.m. Just threw up blood. It was not a good one either because it was like I had mimosas in the morning, and then I tried to drink wine, and then I had Buffalo. So it was.
And also, like last night, we didn't do anything. We just like watched Always Sunny and like listened to records and just got
shit-faced, fucking shit-faced. So today it's Memorial Day. It's one of the best holidays out there, and no better time to enjoy Miller Lite than on a holiday weekend in the summer. We're up here in Rhode Island.
Nope, we're in Massachusetts.
But we went out in Rhode Island because things are opened up a little bit there, and it was nice to be amongst friends, socializing.
I was actually really worried about like the mental effects that quarantine and coronavirus. And for people who are watching this podcast, I'm just going to address. I am never going to look at Kevin. I'm just going to be looking at the camera the entire time. I was concerned about like, how is this going to fuck me up and shit like that. I was walking on the street for 30 seconds. Bro, I was like, all right, that's normal.
Totally
good deal. It was
absolutely normal. I didn't think about coronavirus once.
Well, for a second. Once you get out there, and maybe we're just weird, but once you get out there, it was fucking.
Well, you're not old, you know. I've never been scared of me personally getting coronavirus.
I have been.
Yeah?
They definitely have pre-existing conditions.
What up, pussy?
I haven't been to the doctor in 10 years. I definitely have something that'll fuck me up.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Something with, like, they'll do an autopsy and be like, oh, yeah, he had diabetes.
Yeah.
He ate fucking Sour Patch Kids for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. And he liked lacing his ice cream with corn muffins and brownies. So.
Wow. That's a move. The corn muffin.
Yeah, it's a fight I got in, like, 2 nights ago.
Because you ate her muffin top.
I took my girlfriend's muffin top and put it in my ice cream.
That is one of the more disrespectful things you can do to a person. Is she got a corn muffin, planning like to eat it later, and you just fucking.
When you get a corn muffin, you got one until the sun goes down to eat it.
That's not a rule.
After that, you're done.
That is
no. She got a corn muffin at breakfast, and then at midnight that night, I waited for the clock to turn. At midnight that night, I made my.
Actually, is fair. It's a different thing. Yeah.
I was like, ice cream, corn muffin, let's go.
That's a fucking move, man. I'm gonna have to try that. Just like that Miller Lite. So Memorial Day episode of KFC Radio is brought to you by Miller Lite. Go get a fresh one. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, 96 calories. It's light, it's great taste, and it's a good time with your friends. I have not been this hungover in a long time. I was out of control.
I think so.
Not like out of control because we weren't like doing anything, but I mean, clearly I was.
We got drunk.
Overserved, yeah.
We got drunk, yeah. I mean, you get drunk. Big deal.
It happens.
People get drunk sometimes.
Sometimes you fucking puke at 6 p.m. the next day.
I mean, this is the funny thing was Kevin this morning. My girlfriend was trying to get Kevin to take a shot of vodka in the morning.
Oh my god, she bullied me into it. I almost threw up on your kitchen counter.
It was.
You'll feel better. I was like, I absolutely won't, and I knew it, and she just bullied me into it.
But it's nice, like seeing someone who doesn't live like us having to live like us. It's almost like a sense of pride. I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
Good. Oh, I looked at Kevin, son of a bitch. I'm sorry.
Fucking cheated. Yeah. It's like we're garbage people, you know, and so you're gonna live like garbage.
I like someone getting down into the muck with us. Like Kevin this morning was like I'm so hungover. And I felt like Charlie in Always Sunny when he's like, well, you described it as called the glue overdose, and they're pretty regular in my life. And it was just like, this is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm 35. Body's going through changes. I can't do it like I used to. But it was a good time.
It was fucking fun. I had a real lot of fun last night. I went out to dinner in Rhode Island.
We watched Green Street Hooligans.
Always
Sunny.
Always Sunny. Listen to a bunch of records. Listen to fucking Boz Skaggs. What do you know about Boz Skaggs? Because we know all about it now. We had Johnny Cash. We had Prince, Bowie. We were hitting the vinyl.
I don't remember any of those.
Yeah, no, you were drunk as shit.
Apparently, we had a whole conversation about the Pope that both of us blacked out. We were just talking about the Pope.
I vaguely remember once I got the I don't black things out, I gray things out. Yeah. And then once I got the baseline of it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember having that. So we were talking about Cardinal O'Malley, and then Cardinal O'Malley he's in the mix for maybe one of the next popes, which is crazy because who the fuck has there ever been an American pope?
It's a great question. What was JP2? He was an Italian?
No, there's never been an American. Like, the first Polish Pope was a couple of years ago. And that was like...
Well, fuck the Polacks. We're America. Yeah, what are you talking about? You comparing us to Poland, Nick?
I'm saying it was shocking when there was a Polish Pope. They were like mind blown. A Polish guy got in there. There's no way an American's gotten in there yet.
Be better than Poland.
What was... I guess he was German. He was a Nazi, right?
Yes.
Ratzinger was a Nazi youth.
Which is...
Fuck that one.
Oh
yeah, there's definitely some conspiracy shit that went on with that Pope. He just like bowed out. I think they were like, "Yo, we're trying to turn Nazi." He was like, "Yep, I was waiting for this. I was waiting for the whole Nazi shoe to drop."
Like, what's more Catholic than that, though?
I'm so Catholic. I hate the Jews.
Hey, I'm dedicated to this Catholicism shit. Remember the Crusades? Modern time. I'm a modern crusader.
Would you want to be the Pope?
Would I want to be the Pope?
Yeah.
No.
Would you rather be the Pope or the President? This is an ATI question. Pope or the President?
I mean, I like straight up neither. But if I had to be one,
this is the easiest question.
President. Because you're only president for 4 years. If you do a good job, only 4 years.
But you don't even have to do anything if you're the Pope.
Yeah, but you first of all, you have to be celibate. Second of all, you can't get drunk. Third of all,
they get drunk.
Oh yeah, that's true. They get drunk
and they fuck.
But you can't. Well, they fuck.
That wasn't very Catholic.
Stop that one. I caught that one real quick. But they do fuck boys.
Being the Pope is just like you dress up, you shake some hands, you kiss some babies.
But you go everywhere. Like there's so much. Well, I guess there's a lot of travel with the presidency too. But Pope, no. This is easy. It's much like our crossroad workouts. I can't do anything for an undisclosed period of time. If it's like, hey, start doing this, and then I don't know, maybe you stop at some point. I'd be like, fuck that, I'm stopping right away.
You don't have to do anything.
But you have to be so. It's like our goddamn fucking jobs, Kevin. Like we don't really have to do anything, but you have to be on. And you, as the Pope, you have to be on.
But not. I mean, the Pope can do whatever the fuck the Pope wants to do,
as long as it's Pope-like. Like the Pope can't.
Frankie is out here just like making his own rules.
The Pope can't just go to fucking DJs.
What would happen if the Pope went to DJs? Would he get fired? No.
I don't know.
We just haven't.
I guess I'd be the Pope. I'd be a trailblazing Pope.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'd be like
modern Pope.
I'd be like the Pope right now, who's not really a Pope in any sense, and he's just kind of
I mean, the current Pope is like he's down with the gays, he's down with condoms,
he's just
like
taking
dogs into heaven. He's just making up all sorts of
He's taking down Catholicism from the inside,
right?
And I guess I'd be that kind of Pope where I'm just like, look, let's just see what I'm just gonna keep being me, and I'm gonna wear funny clothes while I do it. Well, I'm gonna wear funnier clothes than I wear, and that would be it. And I think people would like look at me as a game changing Pope. I'd be the Pope, and I would. Right. So if you're the president. I have heartburn so bad. I ate like 8 Tums. If you're the president, you are forgotten pretty quickly, right? Like who was 5 presidents ago?
Jimmy Carter.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
But like the Pope can do things that last forever.
Yeah. See,
I would change Catholicism.
Right. I would be like, church is now on Tuesday. That would fuck people up, right? I would definitely just make up some rules to just piss people off.
Church on Tuesday would be great. My grandmother loved that shit.
Yo,
my grandmother only
nuts when old people go to church every day.
My grandmother or great grandmother didn't go on Sundays because that shit was for fucking amateurs.
Right.
She went Monday through Saturday. Yeah,
that's like
fuck, that's when the shit gets busy. Fuck that.
When that's her version of just going on Easter and Christmas. This is Sunday. This is fucking Sunday,
It's just
man.
for rookies.
I would rather be the Pope than the president. Hands fucking down. President is the worst gig in the goddamn world.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, they're both bad. I do think president is really, really, really bad.
I mean, you know, you never see like look how he came into the papacy and look how he came out. Like you see,
Well, because he goes out with a fucking body bag every time.
Yeah, those are dope.
I guess if you did a fucking time lapse of every pope,
bad.
every time it ends in almost every time it ends
Except
in
the
death.
Nazi.
Except the
Yeah.
Nazi.
Yo, the dopest thing about the Pope is your funeral. You get put on display for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want that though. I don't. Close. I almost looked. I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to display. I actually had this conversation with my parents. And
Ooh, how about this though? Pope-mobile.
Fuck a Pope-mobile, man. I've ridden in bulletproof cars. I'm a bulletproof car guy. Fuck a Pope-mobile.
You're a bulletproof car guy.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I like riding bulletproof cars. I feel cool in them.
When have you been in a bulletproof car?
El Salvador,
Don't do it.
2000 and
Don't do it.
I'm gonna say El Salvador 2007.
I'll tell you what.
Also Bahamas 2000. No, El Salvador 2006, Bahamas 2005. Bulletproof cars.
I'll tell you what. Is bulletproof. Your Mustang. That thing is a tank.
My father's Mustang was.
Yo, I pull up to the crib. We hop in a baby blue, like 67 GT Mustang. And Feidelberg told the worst fucking dad joke you've ever heard in your life.
It's really hard to steer because you don't have power steering. So as you're turning it, you're flexing a lot and you just go. That's why it's called a muscle car.
The worst! What do we got for interviews today? We got Steve Wilkos, Jerry Springer's bouncer, with a fucking awesome conversation we had a couple weeks ago. That dude is a man's man.
Yeah, he's for real.
Like a retired cop,
Not ex. Former. You're never an ex-Marine. You're a former
He was
Marine.
Marine, though, right?
Shout out Memorial Day.
Right.
I think he was.
Landed
I believe he was
free
Marine.
because of the break. You know?
By the way, everyone who's posting things about that, you're lying. Like everyone's like, I'm thinking about you today. No, you're not.
Here's a
Shut
thing.
up.
Is this bad? I don't post about Memorial Day anymore.
I don't. Why? I mean, I don't know if I
I'm
ever
thinking
did.
about it, but I just don't, put up the post of like the American flag and say land with free.
I'll be honest. I haven't thought about it. Like I don't know if that's bad or if that's like I'm not like on Monday today. I have not thought about
A dead soldier.
a soldier. No. Am I? Is that like?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole point of the holiday is to remember them, and you just didn't.
But I mean, no one. I thought about it when I scrolled.
Do you want to also tell the world that you hate dogs next? Because we could just cancel you. Right
I'm
now.
not saying like fuck them. I'm just like I just live my life.
You're not
And
saying what?
I'm not saying fuck them. I'm just saying like fuck the troops. I'm not saying fuck the troops.
He just said fuck the troops.
It's just one of the, like it's just I don't know. I guess I'm bad at that. I should probably take umbrage and work on that. Well, actually, that's also not true because I've seen Chaps' posts and things like that, and I read those. So I guess I have. But I just say like I don't think about anything ever.
Yeah. No, it's not that you're like un-American. You're just an idiot.
It's just it's just like I haven't gone about the day all day today being like thank you.
Right.
I've read a post. I've read a couple of
That's
articles.
what everybody does.
I guess that's how it works.
Unless you have like a direct.
I'm the only one who's admitting that like it hasn't been like my main fucking thing all day.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, unless you like know someone directly, I don't think you're sitting here.
No. I've read shout out Zero Block 30, shout out Chaps, shout out Kate, shout out Cons. I've read the posts. I've read the articles. Fuck Cons, fucking asshole.
Cons isn't even
but
dead yet.
it's
When
just-
Cons dies, then I'll fucking remember it.
See?
He's a fucking lie.
Yeah, where's Cons Purple Heart at?
Yeah, seriously. I sucked. This fucking DJs up on their board says, live a life worth their sacrifice. And I'm like, I am not doing that.
DJ said that?
Yeah. DJ said that. I mean, like
the bar?
yes.
DJ's the Guido bar.
Yes.
Design.
Live a life worth their sacrifice. Sometimes I think
That's a
Rico
lot.
Bosco-
That's a heavy quote.
Sometimes I think Rico actually runs the board. Like he puts the letters up there. There's just these stupid, like inspirational things. I mean, what would you say is a life worth a person dying for you?
Not mine.
Not mine, not yours, not anybody, really. I'd love to listen. If you're a troop, you go to war, and you die, you gotta be like, well, that wasn't worth it. I shouldn't have done that. Right?
I would imagine so.
Look at this goddamn country. This country sucks, dude. This country fucking sucks. It's like,
I don't know. I was drinking beer by the water. That was nice.
True. But
look at this country. This country sucks.
That's the most un-American Memorial Day podcast ever. John said, fuck the troops, and I said,
I was drinking
the phrase, fuck the troops. And this country stinks. No, but like, when
that is like why one of my favorite scenes in television is such a lame thing. Like, one of my favorite scenes in TV, fucking Will McAvoy. And he's like, America's not the best.
Yeah,
they just list all those reasons. I don't even know if he's right for any of those reasons, but I was like, that man's speaking confidently.
I mean, I can't imagine if I went to war, got injured, or worse, and you come back and you just like spend a day on the internet. Like,
dude, if I went to war and came home and like, I would just see someone in my like parade of my welcome home thing who was ugly, and I'd be like, "Fuck you! This was stupid. That was a dumb idea of me to go fight for this fat idiot."
We're gonna get into Steve Wilkos. We're gonna get into who else?
Was Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon was a fucking.
I love Tim.
Tim is awesome. Tim is a smart. Well, you know what?
Tim's the exact opposite of me, and he's fun.
Yeah, it's funny you said it though, because he even just admits in the interview, he's like, I just speak confidently.
Yeah, that's what he did.
I know a fucking cheater. Tim Dillon, Long Island salesman turned comedian and great podcaster who is very well versed in all things like social and political, and smarter than us. So 2 very good interviews. We'll do our top 5s in a minute, but first we got to have a quick talk. Brought to you by Cuts Clothing. I think everybody here at Barstool.
I was wearing a Cut shirt last night.
You look good. You look sharp. Cuts has, what you do is you pick your type of shirt. It can be elongated. It could be a split hem. It could be the curved hem. Then you pick the top. You could either have a crew neck, a Henley, or a V-neck. And you can mix and match the tops with the cut of the bottom, and obviously mix and match colors. So you kind of have something for everybody, something for every look. And it's just very good. I feel like this is a good clothing brand for like adult men. Does that make sense? Like,
I think so.
When it's just plain colors, monochromatic, blacks, grays, earth tones. It's just like when you're overwearing like, I don't know, like a graphic tee or like a jersey or something. You just want like a fresh t-shirt that looks sharp. You dress it up with like a button up over it or a nice jacket. That's what Cuts is. And right now you can get yours for 20% off when you go to cutsclothing.com. Use the promo code KFC. It's the only shirt worth wearing. I think everybody at Barstool has a couple at this point. Cotton engineered. It's nice fabric. It's soft, buttery soft shirts. Just look sharp. So go get your Cuts Clothing. Use the promo code KFC. Get 20% off. I mentioned this on the radio last week, but we got to do it officially here on KFC Radio. I don't think we did this on the podcast yet. This is officially the funeral for the term Karen.
Oh, yeah!
Fucking bed.
What are you doing? All you social media people, stop doing it. It's all like Barstool people. I'm particularly talking to you, Barstool employees. Stop fucking calling people Karen. And I'm going to go Karen on this.
Yeah, you should
stop
Karen.
Stop saying Karen. I'm tired of Karen. I'm so fucking sick of it. First was jazz and breads, and now we're talking about Karens and even fucking Becky's, and I'm just sick of it. It's so dumb.
Well, Becky at least had Beyonce sung about it, and it was basically a racist term, but it just kind of
nothing's as racist as Soup Boy. Oh, by the way, update at HBO, they don't call him Soup Man, they call him Soup Boy. And that's the most racist thing I've ever heard against white people. That actually stings. Where it's like, ooh, boy, that sounds Soup Boy. That sounds mean.
Who do you think ruined their career worse?
Sophia or Soup Boy?
Yeah.
Sophia. Soup Boy is
Agreed, but
Superboy's a middle-aged white man. He'll fail.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be okay. He'll be like a Showtime exec tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. But guess what? He'll always have that face. So until someone chops that guy's head off with an axe, it's gonna be tough for him to live. Here's the thing about Becky. Like stayed.
Becky was fine.
Right,
Becky's like
because it didn't get killed.
Right.
Because you know what's happening. The whites are ruining it.
Is it the whites?
Yeah, when the whites kill,
that's true.
The whites ruin everything. You know, because we were like you can't. You're not gonna say Becky because like we're Becky's. And guess what? You're probably a fucking Karen if you're white and you're complaining about someone online. Like there was one today. I actually didn't watch it because I didn't hear it, but I like watched it with the sound off, and it was a girl in Central Park walking her dog off the leash, and the person filming got mad and said there are clearly signs marked that says your dog should be on the leash. Who do you think the asshole is there? Like I can't even tell who the Karen is. The person, because I think the person walking the dog.
The person walking the dog is like being a dick. But
so that's my point. But the internet is calling her the Karen.
No,
like you are complaining about someone.
The one on the phone is the Karen.
Yes, but I don't think that's what the internet's doing.
That's crazy.
That's what I mean. Like Karen used to also mean something. Back in my day, Karen meant something, and now it just.
But also, back in your day was 3 days ago.
I know.
Like we kill things so fast. Like internet, just let us have something.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Like, let it just fucking slow play something fucking one time. And this is a savage for the boys guy talking to you right now.
But you know what?
Just let us just slow play it for a fucking second. Let it breathe. Let it get interesting. Like it's 1 week shit. 1 week, Karen. The internet is great at creating new stars, creating new content, all that kind of shit.
Create, we destroy.
The only thing it's better at is destroying all that stuff. Like fucking Karen.
I actually think that the internet is like Gotham City, and that it's grown like too big, too powerful, too many people, and we need to like kick everybody off. And you need to like there should be a test, a funny test to get on social media.
Guess what? Fucking 10 of us are allowed to stay.
I know, seriously, nobody's funny. I thought we wouldn't be on the fucking internet either. I wish though.
I would be. I'm leaving myself on the internet.
Yeah.
I would pass the test. The test I create, I would pass it.
It's like I think there's too many people and too many platforms, TikToks, and everybody's jumping on the Karen train, and it's like we build it and we kill it in a day because there's like 50 million people on the fucking all day.
And then it's what happens is the unfunny people get a grab on it.
Yes.
And they're like, that's funny. I'll keep talking about that. And it's just not, and you ruin it so fucking fast.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, I was never like a huge Karen guy. I don't know that I've ever tweeted at Karen.
Useful. It was just like, if you're describing a video and there's the original Karen is the girl on the phone. Old white woman on the phone.
Yeah, but she was never called a Karen.
But yeah, that's the
cookout lady. That's cookout lady.
Right. That to me is like it was a old white woman being a bitch to black people. Right. That was the whole thing. She called them on their cookout.
It was a cookout.
There needs to be. You just can't. It's just not every white girl. What do you think actual Karen's doing right now?
Honestly, they probably don't even know this is happening.
Because they're
just not on the internet and just don't care. Like this is also such a small bubble. Like again, it's our whole world, so it's huge. But like most people, if I told my mom you're bringing a Karen, she goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I think about that often. Like you're dying, huh?
This is my flu game. Yeah,
this is my flu game, motherfucker. You're gonna take this from me. You're fucking Scotty carrying me off the court. I'm not gonna carry your ass tonight. Get the fuck out of here. So, R.I.P. to the term Karen. It goes to bed in the dirt with phrases such as real estate in your head and rent free and all the other things the fucking internet has absolutely obliterated.
Everything. It's because fucking unfunny, stupid people get their hands on it and it just becomes so bastardized and diluted that it just doesn't work anymore.
Will you intentionally not use phrases that you think the internet has killed? Because then I almost feel like you're kind of being a hipster and then you're kind of an asshole. If a situation
honestly,
you should probably say it, but
most phrases that the internet kills, I never jumped on. So you might find a tweet or two where I say Karen, but I don't think I've ever really described someone as a Karen. I don't think I'm sure I've said rent-free and stuff like that, but like, it's never been a focal point of my lexicon.
If you say Karen, fucking kill yourself, you know?
Kill yourself.
All right, let's get into top fives.
Top five.
Top five today, because it is Memorial Day as we record this. We're going to do top five holidays. It's brought to you by our girl, Erica Fleischman at Fleischman Salon.
Yay. I was actually just thinking, like, as I was taking my hat off during this, my hair looks fucking awesome right now.
It's still wet right now because I just got out of the shower. I puked. And,
you puked in the shower?
A little bit, and then I jumped out the door. I cleaned up the door a bit.
I mean, I don't care.
It's tough. We were talking. I did an IG live with Fleischman, and we were just talking hair, talking shop. When do you think you're gonna get a haircut? Like right away?
2 months. Oh yeah. As soon as they're open, I'll hit it.
I mean, I got this. Like, I got like hockey hair coming out the back. I got it's falling. It's like down to my fucking mouth. I mean, my hair is long right now, and I don't think I'm gonna stop.
You're gonna let it flow? Let it flow.
Because I'm eating the gummies every day. I eat like 10 of them a day. The Fleischman gummies are delicious. They're just straight up fruit snacks that make your hair shiny.
She's mad at me how much I eat them.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is she needs to make gummies that come in like 200 for a month, because one a day. I mean, what am I, an adult, Erica? Do you think I have self-control? No, I don't. I just jumped out of the shower though, and I got the conditioner. It's so goddamn good. That fragrance, whatever they did to come up with that, I think they need to do Fleischman cologne next.
Ooh,
just bottle that shit.
There's an idea,
right? Erica, get on it.
It's ours.
She has a whole network of salons in Manhattan. But what she did is she took the formula for conditioner, shampoo, the gummies, sea salt spray, hair paste, hair cream. I think that's it, right? You get a whole, your entire bathroom worth of.
On the big sea salt, the sea spray.
Oh, the sea salt's unbelievable.
That's my shit.
The sea salt is actually the most important thing, I think, if you're worried about doing your hair, because it gives it some grit to it, so it's not all like floppy if you got like a white guy hair like me. So what you do right now is go to FleischmanSalon.com. Go to shop at the top. You can buy any of those things a la carte. But what I recommend you do is just get it mailed directly to you. You can subscribe and you get 10% off, and then use the promo code KFC and get 20% off. I think that means it's 30% off, but I'm not really sure. Yeah. You know, I'm not a mathematician. Okay, folks.
Makes sense.
So it just gets sent right to your house. You don't ever have to go back to the store. You don't have to. You're never. I mean, how many times have I like been filling up the shampoo bottle with water, trying to get one more use out of it? Not
honestly, guys. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm ordering new ones because I actually do need new.
Yep. It smells good. It's good for your hair. If you've got hair, you gotta embrace it and make sure you look sharp, because guess what? It's gonna fall out eventually. We all go bald. And when you do, it's too late. You can't do anything about it. So that's why you got to get on that train right now. Eat the gummies. Get ahead of it. Even if you have a full head of hair, use the shampoo, use the conditioner, use that sea salt spray. I recommend you buy all of it. Have everything you need for your hair sent right to your house. It's FleischmanSalon.com. Promo code KFC for 20% off. If you subscribe for monthly deliveries, you get another 10% off. Top 5 holidays. Who's got first pick?
You. I can't.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, Christmas. Number 1 holiday.
That's bullshit. I mean, it's right. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you just don't overthink it. Keep it simple, stupid. Right. Like you can get cute with it. You can come up with all sorts of shit. Some people say Thanksgiving. It's like Thanksgiving is just a fucking meal. Christmas is a whole season. You get presents. There's a goddamn fucking story that goes around it. I mean, it's the greatest.
It's present
story.
It's presents. That's it.
I don't know, because as an adult, you don't really get presents, and I like the season. I like the vibe.
I agree.
I mean, what other holiday do you get for a month?
But I like
fucking Ramadan.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's pretty close to a month. November is Thanksgiving.
I mean, I get what you mean, but it's not like you're like, oh, I'm in the Thanksgiving spirit.
No, that's true. Yeah. That's true. But
Christmas is a big enough powerhouse that it'll change your behavior. Like you'll act.
I mean, your Christmas is one for sure, but I don't really feel like I act that. Yeah, maybe I do a little bit.
Yeah, you get the Christmas cheer. Maybe
I fake it a little harder.
Be an asshole,
Yeah.
So Christmas, easy peasy.
All right, my one, Thanksgiving.
Obviously.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is. I almost feel like Thanksgiving's adult Christmas.
Okay, because you just get drunk and food.
Right.
Yeah,
and you like
drunk.
You get you don't get the presents part because the presents part is fairly childish, right? Like the idea of gift giving is not childish, but like the Christmas present
and shiny,
is a little childish. Thanksgiving is you don't get that part, but I feel like you get more booze. You get drunk on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You eat more on Thanksgiving. You pass out more on Thanksgiving.
Can I tell you something? On Thanksgiving, I eat a normal ass dinner. A couple slices of turkey, some mashed potatoes, some peas, like on the side. I don't go back for like seconds and thirds and fourths. I just like.
I go.
You're a fat dumb bitch.
I don't do it regular. Like it's not like immediately get up, but that we have Thanksgiving at our house, and I will have 5 meals that day. Yeah. They're all normal sized meals,
but you just keep eating.
They're just, and they're not like immediate. It's not like I get up like time for seconds, but I just. And honestly, it's probably just because I'm so fucking drunk. Like that's probably
just blacked out yams all day.
I probably eat as much as I do on a regular blacked out day where I'm like, I need another pizza.
You know what is the most what am I looking for? Like the unsung hero. Like being a mom on Thanksgiving is worse. I mean,
being a mom at all times.
Period. I mean, being a mom. If you're a woman and you decide to be a mom, you are an idiot.
Nuts.
You're a moron. I was listening to Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura the other day, and Bert was talking about his wife. He's like, I mean, she raised 2 kids by herself alone. And Tom was like, you're talking like you're dead or something. He's like, I didn't do anything. I mean, when I watch my mom slave, because you got to start cooking like 15 hours early, and then people just like shovel it down their gullets and they get back to the TV.
And it's just the plate.
Yeah, and then you got to do the fucking dishes. It's like, God. I mean, it is a miracle that moms don't slaughter entire families on Thanksgiving.
Unreal.
Just like, the turkey's a little dry, and you just stab with that big fucking turkey fork, Okay, so you just picked Thanksgiving. Because I really believe those two are miles apart from the other.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I will probably then go with 4th of July. 4th of July, because it is, especially like for us, it just means a week off, which I don't think other people have, but I think of it as like time off. It's like when you're young and you're in party mode, 4th of July is it. Memorial Day is still too cold. Labor Day is kind of the end. 4th of July, smack in the middle. It's summertime. Everybody's sexy. Everyone's tan. Cookouts, barbecues, whatever it is you call it. Beach, the whole 9. And according to Feidelberg, it's the end of summer.
And the summer,
right?
According to my mom, yeah. Well, and the summer. My number 2 is Memorial Day, and it borderline had an opportunity to be number 1 if Thanksgiving wasn't so great, because Memorial Day is like an unscratched lottery ticket where
there's so much potential.
There's so much promise. Yeah. We're like, wow, it's summer. I'm going to get tan. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to get a fucking hot girlfriend. There is so much that could go right on Memorial Day.
And it doesn't really ever.
But and it never does, but that's what I mean. Yeah, it's the hope. It's like, oh boy, it's more like summer's about to be crazy. We're in the best summer of our lives. People say that every year until they die of cancer at 37. Like, it's just a regular. Like, it's just always like Memorial Day. Like, this is going to be the best summer of my life.
Right.
It never is, but it's possible.
You ever, when I think of, you ever see American Pie 2?
I definitely did.
They paint houses for the summer and they like live in a lake house.
I painted a house one summer.
Did you? Because I was gonna say that's like something that like I see it and I'm like, fucking let's do that, guys. We're gonna start a band and paint houses this summer, and then we just like don't.
I painted houses one summer, and I was college pro painting.
I think you paint houses.
I don't know if it's still in existence. It was definitely a scam.
You had to be terrible house painter.
Well, let me go on. And day 2 on the job, I believe, I was climbing up a ladder to the 3rd story. I was painting the third story of a house at like 7:30 in the morning.
Probably
Like
still drunk.
still drunk.
Yeah.
I called my mom. I was like 19 years old. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm still up here. And mom said, climb down and quit. Go find a new job. And that's what I did.
I love your mom because she just keeps it so fucking real. Most parents are like, son, you got to learn a hard day's work. You made a commitment. You got to live up to it. She's like, listen, we both know you're not cut out for this.
This is what you do. So I went and I fucking bartended on a fucking shit that did harbor cruises. And I did that for like 4 summers in a row because I was awesome at it and that job was awesome. And if my mom never told me that, then
probably still be shittily.
Yeah, if she did like one of those stupid like life lessons, like stay up there, like, I'd just be fucking drunk on a ladder every day.
You probably would have died eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, I'm going to just throw back to a previous top 5.
By the way, I guess it's weird that we haven't addressed, like, my parents are not here. That's why we haven't like told anything about my parents.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll trade you for Polly right now. I'm going to go back to an old top 5 things worth paying money for. Painting. Anybody who like paints their own house or paints a wall, like get a fucking Mexican guy to come do that in a fraction of the time for a little bit of money.
Anyone who paints, mows the lawn, does the garden, does anything at all, pay professionals to just do it.
Right.
And like that's not like just because like you're lazy. Like they're professionals.
It's like you wouldn't like drill your own tooth. Would you go to the dentist?
They're way better at it. Have them do it.
I mean, if I had to paint a wall, it would take me an entire day, and it takes them like 7 minutes. It's insane. I am going to go with the opposite of Memorial Day for my next pick. I'm going to go a little outside the box here. I am picking Labor Day because it is the sweet, sweet release of like, I remember when I was getting Jersey Shore houses, Hamptons houses, and it was like, make it to Labor Day, and I'm never coming to this house again. I'm never drinking again. I'm never going to these bars again. I'm never going outside again. By the time you do like 14 weekends in a row in the summer of like heavy boozing and lines at the bar and crowded bars, bands and dancing and shit, Labor Day was always like, thank fucking God it's done. Like if it wasn't for Labor Day, I think I would just like keep doing it until I die. But somebody decided to like mark the end of summer with it and
put a cap in the bottle.
Thank you, God, for the sweet release. Like it's either Labor Day comes or death. Which one comes first? We'll find out.
All right, my 3, MLK Day, because 1,
fuck, I should have gone with that one.
Not a racist.
Fuck.
2, you always forget when it is, and it just kind of pops up. You're like, wait, we got Monday off?
Yeah.
And it's like finding $20 in your jacket.
But I actually. Wait.
Martin Luther King Day is like finding $20 in your jacket.
Fuck the troops. And MLK Day is just about finding some cash in your pocket. I don't think it creeps up on you like that because like we used to always like it was a thing. Like we marked on the calendar. We're gonna get a house. We're going to Vermont. We're going to fucking.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, not for me. Yeah. God, that sounds bad.
Yeah, you. I'm not celebrating.
But no, like it just. I'm like I don't know. I think it surprises me now. I don't remember what it used to be like, but like MLK Day was probably one of the first days where we tried to take off because Dave said Barstool was open as long as the markets are open. And then Dave had no idea how often the markets close. And we tried to take off at MLK Day, and Dave was furious. And so then, like, we obviously worked all MLK Day. So now we have them off again because we're a real company with HR and stuff. And I think that, it's just the new shout out 2 Bigs. Mo was on 2 Bigs last week, and Mo's the man. I really like listening to Mo.
Mo was ahead of his time.
That's exactly what I said. Mo was ahead of it because Mo would do like these weird, like different things that just didn't really make sense when like Barstool was just like, hey, we talk loud and we yell a lot. And it just, he got like,
you say fuck, I say fuck a lot.
I say big, I'm bringing cunt back. But Mo was like, that was worse. But Mo was so fucking funny, and he's awesome. I really, really, really like Mo, and he was great on 2 Bigs. If you want to go listen to that. 3, MLK Day.
You're still racist. Okay. In that case, St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, fuck you on that.
I forgot about that.
St. Patrick's Day. Not much for me these days, but again, in my prime, most holidays are really for it's a young man's game. I mean, New York City, Hoboken, Long Beach, Scranton. That I think if you do St. Patrick's Day right, that's a month. March is St. Patrick's Day. Because every weekend there's another town celebrating another parade that nobody actually goes to the parade. I St. Patrick's Day. Going to the parade in Manhattan with my buddy whose dad was a firefighter. So if you ever get a chance to do New York City St. Patrick's Day with firemen, it's probably the best thing you can do. I don't think I've ever had a better experience than that, because that whole thing about chicks in a uniform, it's the realest cliche in the world. And I remember, I think I was a senior in high school, 21, and I saw.
Wait, what?
No, I was drinking with firemen and shit. Like, definitely underage drinking. But,
okay. I was getting very confused for a second.
But I remember I watched two girls make out at Sutton Place because like firemen were like, I was like, I became a man that day. So yeah, I mean, St. Patrick's Day for a Mick like myself, that should have been like my first pick. I can't believe
I forgot St. Patrick's Day existed because every day is St. Patrick's Day for me.
When you're an alcoholic, you know what? Little known facts: March 18th is a little something known as St. Clancy's Day.
Really?
Because I went on a run. No, I made it up. Like me and my friends made it up because I went on a run for like 5 years in a row where I inexplicably got absolutely shithoused on March 18th every year. Where like everybody else was hungover and like licking their wounds, I would just have like a twinkle in my eye. Like, let's go to the bar, do like a little hair of the dog, and eat.
Where the fuck was this Clancy today?
Bro, he was 25. Yeah. Okay?
He's aged a decade.
Yeah, he's in the dark.
He's aged long enough that the Labrador we bought is dead.
Drinking me is like a dog that I bought 10 years ago, and we had to fucking send it to
no
the
longer alive.
I
am not doing well this episode. I've officially pissed off everybody. Hang on a second. MLK Day's 3, dude.
Should have been 1 if you wanted. So yeah, St. Pat's for me. Is that my 4th pick?
Yeah, 4. I'm gonna go Halloween. This will be quick. I don't really give a shit about Halloween, but it is nice on social media. It's a good social media holiday. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's probably the only good social media holiday because everything else is like resolutions and fucking spirit of Christmas, and I'm thankful for this. So, Halloween is just like, here are my fucking tits. Yeah, and it's like, all right, this is a nice scroll through Instagram on this one rather than people making me feel bad about myself or making me feel like I need to do something more. That's a nice just seasonal scroll through Instagram.
Big time young man's game there too, though.
I can't tell you the last time I did Halloween.
Right. But when I did do it, I really enjoyed
it. Yeah. Nothing against Halloween. Costumes, you know. I'm not one of those guys who's aged out of things like they're dumb now. I've aged out to be like, for me. They're too cool for me now.
Yeah, right. All right, last pick. I think I'm going to go, I'm trying to almost think back to school because that's something I haven't done yet. Like a day off in school that kind of like creeps up like a stupid one, like President's Day or some shit like that. Or that's found money. That's like you found $20.
Yeah, I don't know. You could tell me it's in any month. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know. Columbus Day is October. Veterans Day is November.
I was gonna say March.
And President's Day February. I think I'm gonna go. Am I missing a big one? I'm just trying to run through the.
We're definitely missing something. This is shout out to us. We're doing it. We came up with this idea to do top 5 on this 20 minutes ago.
Heroes.
Didn't talk about it.
You want to talk about heroes on Memorial Day? Us.
What's up?
The top 5 list.
And we're just guessing at holidays at this point. I'm surprised I got 4.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't know. Cool. President's
Day.
Just for the time off of school.
Found money again.
Yeah.
Okay, my 5th is going to be.
You get a romantic on them? You are a romantic.
Are
you a B-Day guy?
Absolutely not. In fact, we just it was almost like a weird pact this year to just not celebrate Valentine's Day. So he was just like, we're not doing it. But it wasn't even like we didn't go out of our way to say we're not celebrating Valentine's Day. We just didn't do it.
It's like, oh, whoops, I forgot.
It's just like we just didn't do it.
It's like Frank the Tank missed his birthday. Oh, Frankie birthday.
I thought you meant the other Frank the Tank. Which also would have made sense.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know another holiday. Give me holidays.
Flag Day.
No. Flag Day's no, not doing Flag Day. That's hacky. Flag Day's a hacky holiday at this point. Everyone just makes fun of it. St. with Arbor Day.
Arbor Day.
You know, fuck. I honestly just don't know the holiday. My birthday. 5. My birthday.
All right, that's it. Hit us with your top 5s, and let's get into our voicemails today. They're brought to you by Movement. Movement has been around since day one with this podcast, and they've been supporting us. So you got to support them. And not only that, but they make quality products. They make the quality. You know me. It's officially summertime. It means the weather's turning. Now I can wear sunglasses. Because wearing sunglasses in the winter, just not for me. I just don't do it. So now I'm going to get into sunglasses game. They got the sunnies. They got the watches. They're all affordable, high-quality products. You can match them, your wrists, your shades, your accessories. They got the leather bands to the watch, the metal bands, black, white, different colors, men's, women, different sizes, all sorts of different shades. So a wide array of products. The watches start at just $95. The sunglasses are even more affordable. So get yourself a few pairs, get yourself a few watches, mix and match, and you too can join the movement. So go to mvmt.com/KFC and you get 15% off plus free shipping and free returns. We've been wearing watches and shades from Movement forever. It's time for you to join the movement as well. Go to mvmt.com/KFC, 15% off plus free shipping and free returns. Voicemails, let's cook.
What's good, fellas? I just had a quick question for you guys. So a while back, back when I was a virgin back then, I was at this one party and I met this one girl, and all my friends were like, "You gotta fuck her, man. You gotta fuck her. You gotta lose your virginity or whatever." And so I brought her back to my room one day finally, and let's just say things didn't go so well. Tried to have sex with her, didn't go too well. Basically, I stuck it in and couldn't quite get hard enough. I tried sticking it in and I didn't really know what to do after that, so I just stuck it in, and then after that, the girl gave me a head with a condom on, so it didn't go too well. And basically my question was, I told my friends I'm a half virgin, I'm a 50% virgin. So my question for you guys is, am I a virgin, not a virgin, or a 50% virgin? Let me know. Peace.
I was gonna say, it seems like he's talking like
no! We have to look at each other. That guy, he didn't sound like a kid.
Yeah.
Yo, let me just tell you something real quick. If you suck dick through a condom as a girl or a guy, you don't have respect for yourself. I mean, that's like what literally words.
Suck dick through condoms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you feel the need to suck dick through a condom, you probably just shouldn't be having sex with that person. That person
don't suck that dick.
Right.
Just
like if you think that dick is so dirty that you would blow it with like through rubber, then just don't fuck that dick.
Imagine having that. Like, I gotta eat this pussy, but I'm gonna put saran wrap around it first. Shit. Like let me get the fucking I think it's called saran wrap.
Yeah.
And just fucking put it there just so I can lick it up. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Great. Dental dams or whatever they call it.
But also, dude, you're virgin, right?
Yeah. Well, no. I think his dick's been inside someone. Just because it was bad sex doesn't mean he didn't like have sex.
Did he come? I almost looked at the picture.
That's a great, like, it's like if the tree falls in the woods. If you fuck, like, yeah, well, if you like lay the wood and then like you can't come, you had sex with that person. If you like put it in and it gets soft and then it's just like you put it in.
Right.
Like if you put a dick just like in your mouth real quick, you haven't given a blowjob. You have to like do work with it, But like, what if you put a dick in your mouth? Are you gay? I'm gay, but I didn't give head. I did not give you a blowjob. Your dick was in my mouth.
Just taste the dick.
No big deal. Do you think dicks taste? Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, it tastes probably salty.
Yeah, it's like skin.
I can't imagine it tastes good.
I mean, I cannot imagine.
How do we get onto what dick tastes like?
I cannot believe that girls put dicks in there.
Yeah, but also like
in between their legs and shit. And they're like, I'll blow that.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking
tongue inside their pussies
and acid. Like it's
they're so. What was God thinking when He made assholes so close to the vagina?
Sucking dick is like the third grossest thing people do with nether regions. It's like 1, ass eating, 2, pussy eating, 3, dick.
I think it's easier to eat an ass than like a questionable pussy has got to be third on the list if you ask me. An ass is just like you're just looking, I mean, it's gross, but it's just like skin.
It's all shit, baby. People have grosser pussies out there. Everyone's asshole's gross.
You can find a girl that's like, pH imbalance or some shit. Yikes.
I've never had that happen, so I guess I can't really speak to it.
It's
But
catastrophic.
that's it.
It's absolutely catastrophic. I'd rather eat that girl's ass than pussy.
What the
Is this
fuck?
guy a virgin or not?
Well, that's his question. Are you a virgin?
Yes.
I feel like are you a virgin is kind of one of those things where if you gotta ask,
That's probably true.
right? Like if you don't, if you're not like I'm not a virgin anymore.
So what would
You're
you
probably
say
still a virgin.
when
And
like,
also,
sex
you should
occurred?
talk in a higher voice because it's disarming.
Yeah, you sound like a grown adult. It's a virgin. When would you say sex happens?
I am. Oh, this is Philly talking to your priest now. I would say intercourse happens.
Like, is there a certain number of pumps? A certain amount of time?
I think the second. Nope. I think you have to go through. Fuck God, I honestly do not know the answer to this. I was gonna say I think you have to go through the whole thing, but you're right. Like there are definitely times where like I've been like drunk or hungover and just like didn't go through the whole thing, but did most of the thing. And I'm like, well, we just had sex.
Yeah, that's sex.
I honestly don't know. This is a question that will
can't
plague
be
philosophers
Yeah.
such as fucking podcasters until the end of time. I honestly do not know.
If you say that coming needs to happen, like then like no girls have ever had sex. You know? It's crazy to me. I was thinking about it, like when girls don't come, is it just sort of like, you know, like I like getting my head scratched. There's no like finale, but it feels really good.
I mean, like there are times when I come where I'm just like, that was fun. Like I don't get blue balls because that's fake. But well, fart. I don't know, tins. Son of a bitch. Not even tin here. Yeah, baby.
I think you don't come far too often.
No, it's pretty regular. I mean, it's pretty irregular. I just talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I do not know. Ask your priest. Ask Father O'Malley and
Talk to the Pope.
Like I really just don't know. It's one of those things. It's like the senator who said about porn. Where it's like I can't define it, but you know when you see it. You know it when you did it. So if you're asking, you just didn't do it.
Next up.
What's up, guys? So my girlfriend's birthday's coming up, and obviously I had to buy her a gift or a couple gifts. I already got her a few little things, you know, necklace, candles, same bullshit you always buy. And one thing that she wanted in particular was a scale, you know, like one of the nice scales that measures your like body mass index, all that shit. And I just think that's a road I absolutely do not want to go down. I could just see the look in her eyes when she opens a gift and she sees a scale.
Scales.
So I just want to know what your opinion is on buying her a scale. Also, what are some kind of backhanded gifts that maybe you've received or you've given to someone? Like I know that one year my dad got my mom a vacuum. You could just see that fuck you look in her eyes. So yeah, just let me know what you think. Thanks.
A scale is not a good. If she can ask for it, you can get it for her, but you can't be like, "Here's your birthday."
Get her a scale a month after.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that. That's almost just something like you buy for the house.
Right.
It's like, you know, you get something around the kitchen, you get something in the bathroom. Here's a scale. You can't be like, "Here's your scale." Girls like the dumbest shit. Like we said, like candles and stuff. It's like this is just a waste of time.
I honestly haven't bought a gift in so long, and I think just don't get gifts. Just like I'm very good at just buy things regularly throughout the year, and then like it doesn't matter anymore. Does that make sense? Which is like I don't need
buy her gifts all the time.
I don't buy her gifts all the time. Just like I don't know, just fucking get shit. And then it's just like, well, today's fucking your birthday. Who fucking cares?
This is terrible
it's
advice.
Bad advice, but it's
not
worked out.
Right over here.
It's just like I don't know. I don't make a big deal out of gift giving, and I just address it. I'm like, hey, I don't really do gifts, so I'm good at getting stuff other times. I just don't really do gifts, so don't get your hopes up.
It's crazy. Some of the things that Fight Over gets away with, where you're just like, I just don't do that. and like the women in his life are just like, okay, what? What does that even mean? Find you a girl who doesn't celebrate her birthday. That's what you need to find. I mean, I think that.
But you know what I do? Because I just do things that are. They just kind of like span things. We're like, okay, so like obviously it got canceled because of coronavirus, but like we were gonna go to Europe. We were gonna go to Paris. We were gonna go to England, and it was like kind of in between her birthday and Valentine's Day. And I never said it was like one of those gifts.
Yeah.
But it just kind of was in between then, and like I just didn't get her for something for either of those days. And it was just like, I'm sure she just was like, well, it's the fucking trip to Europe.
Yeah.
So like,
well,
it
that
makes
I
if you
think is
just-
a good thing to do. By the way, it's like just on her birthday, always like go to a vineyard, go away for the weekend, go to a bed and breakfast. If you do things, then you never have to worry about like what gift do I give.
I'm so much more of a doer than a giver. Like,
But if you're gonna do gifts, by the way, too, just buy jewelry every time. They cannot have enough. Get her a necklace, then next year you get her a bracelet, then next year you get her earrings, next year you get her a ring, next year you get her an anklet, and then you just repeat. Another necklace, another bracelet, another earring.
I never get the stuff like my mom wanted for Christmas years ago, wanted a vacuum. And she wanted it so bad. My dad got it for her. And my mom was thrilled. She's like, awesome, vacuum. And every Christmas, my dad gets charged for buying a vacuum.
Oh,
and it's just not
like you fucking wanted it.
It's like
Meanwhile,
not by my mom, because again, it was what my mom wanted. It's by us.
Guys,
like, oh, not a vacuum this year, huh?
Right,
like a little fucking piss ants who you fucking paid for to live forever, or just making fun of you to forget your wife. The most.
And by the way, vacuums are like $1,000. It's not like you like cheap.
What?
Like a good vacuum is like $600.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's why they want them. So like, I don't want to fucking spend this money, but you know, a good vacuum is like, I mean, it's a big piece of equipment. You know what I mean?
I had no idea.
It's like $500.
I did not know that.
I bought Frank the Tank. That motherfucker. Yeah, just get jewelry, man. Just fucking get jewelry and just be done with it. Okay. Next up.
What's up, guys? First time, long time. Had a hypothetical for you. Would you rather be awesome at team sports in high school, like 3 classic sports, like you're great at baseball, basketball, football, maybe playing college as well, really good athlete, but you suck at like the quirky sports and games, like you can't play golf, fishing, poker, pool, darts, bowling, or you're just a very mediocre athlete in high school, not going to play in college, but for life, you're unreal at every one of those things. Like, you're sick at poker, pool, fishing, like all the cool, quirky sort of things. Let me know. Thanks, guys. Viva.
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think while I like the idea, like I love how like Marty Mush is like the greatest athlete in the world, but that dumb shit, that's cool. I think that you will be a different person if you're young and awesome at sports.
Right.
Like
so let's say you stay you. You stay you.
Okay.
Because that is something, and I've been doing it more than you.
Successful as I am going to be, whether or not I.
Right. I've been using that as a cop-out, and I think I'm using it too much as a crutch.
Okay.
But it does not change your personality. Your personality stays who you are right now.
My confidence, my abilities,
right.
Shit. Then I'm taking the opposite. I think because you're not going to play football after the age of like 18, most likely. You're not going to you might still play some basketball. You're not going to play like hardball baseball, but you're going to be at the bar throwing darts. You're going to be playing, you're going to be playing some poker. You hit the bowling alley every now and then, and you're just like that dude who always wins, and people know you as like the alternative sport, like athlete superstar. Yeah. Take that.
It's 100% that. It's 100% that. It's, dude, like the guy who's good at pool, fucking darts, fucking backgammon, fucking cornhole. That's so. Now, granted,
that's valuable.
You have a responsibility because you have to do it all the time. Imagine those guys who's great at cornhole. I just have to play cornhole the entire fucking barbecue.
Like, I fucking hate cornhole.
Like, I don't like doing this anymore. I want to just go play Jumbo Jenga. But it is like that's the guy you want to talk to.
Yeah,
you want to. Yeah, the darts is what I'd like to run table at. Bam, bam, bam. Ping pong. It's all fucking cool.
Pool's one for me.
If you can,
when you're good at pool and you look smooth with a pool cue in your hands, you look like that's like sexy. You're that.
Like even in high school, like I was a pretty good athlete. Like I never had sex, so it didn't do anything for me really. As far as as long as I keep my confidence, which is really like keeping like hanging on like hiding in like a building with like before you have like your last bit of health. Like, all right, if someone finds it, I'm definitely dead. I gotta reload here. That's what my confidence is.
Unbelievable.
But definitely, it obviously formed me as a person.
Right.
But like, as far as like, I don't think I got invited to more parties because I was an athlete. I definitely didn't have any sex because I was an athlete. I didn't really have any high school benefits, so I would keep the unscratched lottery ticket of being great at bar games.
It's all about potential. All right, let's get into our interviews. We'll start off with Tim Dillon, funny comedian, New York guy now.
I love Tim. I was nervous about Tim because we're so different, but I really, really, really love Tim.
Yeah, he's like, sometimes, you see some of his shit, it's like, oh, this guy's like a wacky conspiracy theorist. And then other times it'll be, he's as level-headed as it gets. He's very, very hard to find people who are actually like down the middle, and he is one of those guys. So let's get into it. Tim Dillon.
But he's down the middle. How about this? I think I'm down the middle. Tim's down the middle in the median, in the sense that he goes, whoa,
right.
whoa.
Whereas you just
it ends up being in the middle.
Yes, like go to the extremes, see what everyone's got to get, like what they have to offer, and then come back to them. Tim Dillon on KFC Radio is brought to you by The Zebra. Over Americans overpaying for home insurance and car insurance by over $21 billion.
That's so much money.
I know for a fact I am. I get a text like, oh, this has been deducted from your account. And I'm like, that's way too goddamn high. So I'm going to go to The Zebra, TheZebra.com/KFC. And you can start saving on your car and home insurance right now. The Zebra takes all of the different insurance companies and insurance plans and lays it all out in front of you. So it's like when you go book a trip on like Kayak or one of those, and it's like, here are all the flights, here are all the hotels, here are all the prices. They do that, but for a car and home insurance, which is one of those things. It's like, you're not like brand loyal. You just want to get your shit insured at the cheapest cost possible. And that's what The Zebra does. So go to thezebra.com/KFC. You can save up to $670 per year using this service, and it is completely free. They're not going to sell any of your information to spammers. You don't have to answer unwanted phone calls or emails. It's just down to brass tacks. Get your insurance at a better price. Thezebra.com/KFC.
Hey, there we go.
Fantastic.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much. That's what I sell. I just sell sex.
It's just sex, baby. You got that glow about you. You got the glow. You're looking fucking hot, Tim Dillon.
It's LA, baby.
You look like you just got off the course, like closing deals.
Yeah. I look like a guy that's trying to convince a native tribe to let a logging company, slash a few acres of Brazilian rainforest,
That's what I love about you, Tim Dillon. You got references and fucking shit that's way above my head all the time, man. You're a smart cat.
Well, who knows? We'll see.
So I appreciate you doing this. I know we kind of talked earlier about how awful the virtual shit is.
I know, but I don't think I'm coming back to New York forever.
Yeah, no, I figured.
I mean,
when you get out, why come back?
I told my family, I said, I don't think I feel comfortable seeing any of you again, even if there's a vaccine, even if it's 5 to 10 years from now, when literally the word coronavirus hasn't ever been mentioned. To honor the work that the heroes have done, I don't believe I can see any of you.
Yo, I actually, you say heroes, and I know you were mentioning it on one of your earlier podcasts or recent podcasts where you were like, you're only having heroes on the show from now on.
Only heroes.
Dead One Dice, I believe. And do you think we're ever gonna get to call someone an asshole again, where people aren't gonna be like, whoa, come on, like he served, and it's like where, and it's
where did he serve? DoorDash.
He in a grocery store.
Yeah, like he served at Kroger 2020.
It's a thing now where it's like no, like whoa, dude, like he served in Iraq. Like I know, and I appreciate that. But he's a dickhead. Like what do you want me to do? And that's just the pool for people that's possible of has grown exponentially.
Dude, I had a guy call our radio show, and he was like, I'm a delivery man, and I'm making more money than ever for like FedEx or UPS or whatever. He's like, I'm making bang. And everyone's also like rolling out the red carpet for me. He's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, here's the way it is, because I saw this happen during Hurricane Sandy. And if you have nothing going on, there is nothing better than a natural disaster, a hurricane, a plague. I mean, if you've got nothing going on anyway, this is the great equalizer.
Yep.
Like, this is the great leveling. Everybody's home. No one can go to the gym. You know how happy I am? I wake up, I can't even go to the gym. It's illegal.
It's not even an option.
It's illegal.
Did you see that guy? The
Yeah.
guy, and I believe it was Jersey, who just got arrested for going to the gym.
I mean, that's a lifestyle, and you got to respect him.
But he looked exactly like the kind of guy who you'd be like, you are the one who'd get arrested for the gym, because like you're not. He wasn't like huge, trying to get like in shape. He wasn't a guy who looked like he might be like medically addicted to push-ups. He was just kind of like a big-armed fat guy who like walks around the gym with the weight belt that you can never really see his gut, but you never see him really lifting weights that need that belt either.
Yeah, I mean, I am just amazed. I loved watching people work out in front of that courthouse, like
That was incredible.
Florida, in front of the courthouse. It's bringing out the best in all of us.
It's great for material. You know what I mean? The amount of protesters and idiots and fucking morons running around. We got material.
I do a lot of dark comedy, and this has even gotten very dark for me.
So what I really do appreciate about your podcast and your comedy is like you are a very informed guy. You keep up with it. You know what's going on in politics, at least more than the average guy. When you speak, I can tell you're more, well versed than I am, and it's good. I almost get like my news from you sometimes, Tim Dillon. Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
I just speak with a lot of certainty.
Yeah.
So even if I don't know something, or if something I'm on shaky ground, I'm a Long Island sales guy in my heart. You know what I mean?
Well, you have the voice that's like, that guy spent nights smoking cigars and half a glass of whiskey.
So when I was 20 years old, I was coked out of my mind, calling people on the phone, telling them I was a financial advisor. So,
do I live with you?
Yeah. I don't know if I would get news from me, but I'm not a bad voice in the chorus,
Yeah, well, I think what's good is you do kind of play it somewhat down the middle where, like, I don't think you're a full-blown tinfoil hat conspiracy theory guy.
I'm not.
But you're not like a sheep who's just following, whatever everybody says.
Yes.
You had a tweet. You sent a tweet about a week or so ago that just said, all we should do is just question these billionaires when they stand to profit and they might want to do weird shit to you.
I mean, Bill Gates, there was an article recently in the Daily Mail. It was like, hey, Bill Gates was thinking about shooting a missile full of dust at the sun to dull it for climate change so that the sun won't be as strong. And I'm like, maybe let's just discuss that. Maybe let's just run that through the before we just hand over the sun to a guy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not anti-vax. I'm not anti-progress. I'm just like, these guys right now have Batman villain wealth.
Yeah.
Meaning the fact that he could even think of doing that, the fact that he could sit home and go, what are we going to do about the sun?
Let's do a dust missile. A dust missile sounds good.
How about a dust missile? And he had to say to Melinda, he's sitting there at the table, he goes, honey, what about a dust missile at the sun? And she goes, that seems nice. We have to watch these people, because these are the same people that say, progress is so inevitable that everything's got to be AI and robotics. And I'm like, can't we slow it down a little bit? Can't we slow it down? So that, we don't replace all of the workforce with robot. Like, I just think we just got to stay in the conversation.
See, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that's smart. I just don't do it. And my question for people like you are like, are you tired a lot? Like, dead serious. Like, are you like when I'm done for the day, when this thing hangs up, I'm done thinking. I'm done. I've thought for an hour and I'm out. And
the way I described it, Tim, is like in the Matrix in the movie when he's like, you can take the red pill or the blue pill. I don't know which color is which, but John takes the opposite pill of you. He just doesn't want to know, doesn't care,
I'm about 2 years from that.
Okay, see, that's what I was saying that to my girlfriend today.
Yeah.
Where we were arguing about whether would you want to know if aliens exist if no one would ever believe you? And I said, sure. And she's like, but no one will ever believe you. I go, well, I don't fucking care. I'd be like, you're an idiot. I'm right.
Yeah.
And I just because I've been arguing for 10 years about it. And I was like if I read that Bill Gates thing, which
Yeah.
I would just go fucking ridiculous, and I put it down. That I agree it's crazy and stupid, and we probably shouldn't do it, but I wouldn't project that into the world because I'd be like, fight with me, and I don't want to deal with that.
Part of what I do, right, as a comedian, I got to find things that make me laugh, right? So when I read that article, the first thing that happened was I just started uncontrollably laughing because it was like, you know, experts warn that Bill Gates shooting missile of dust at sun could be a calamity, you know? And I just thought it was funny. Like everything that I get into, for the most part, a lot of it is because I think something is funny or that I can make it funny. Not everything, but a lot of things, whether it's the Bill Gates thing or something, I look at it, like I'm obsessed with real estate shows, right? Because I think they're hilarious. Like nothing, I cackle at real estate shows like a psychotic person, like the Joker, because I love how fake they are. And I love how you know, we're in this crazy economic recession, depression, whatever we are. And the shows on TV are like, this is a $75 million stunning estate in Malibu. And you're like, and then the news is like, you know, coronavirus vaccine several years away, 30 million Americans lose jobs. And then you're watching this show about a guy who's having a water slide installed from his room so that it can go to the Pacific Ocean. And there's something so funny about, like, it's just such a wild time in our history when there are those are the options.
Right. Yeah, you're one or the other. Yeah.
You're one, like, you could be fucked totally, or you could be walking around an $80 million house going, this doesn't do it for me.
Did you see that story today? The one that since the pandemic started, Americans, billionaires, have made $434 billion.
They're doing well.
Oh,
They're doing good.
They're adding a lot of fucking
shit.
pools, Tim.
That's the shit where you got to be like, well, let's take a look at that. What the fuck is going on here? You guys made 400 billion while we're all losing, you know.
I mean, it's like anything else, right? If you see an opportunity to accelerate a lot of the things that were happening before this pandemic, a lot of these people were heavily invested in, whether it was self-driving cars, automation, AI, all of this stuff right now, because of this situation, seems not only inevitable, but desirable, right? You'd rather deal with a robot that can't give you coronavirus, right? But what is the economic impact of all that stuff going to be? And how quickly does this accelerate all of those trends? You know, whether it's surveillance, whether, you know, it's, you know, weird, you know, things where you got to have, you know, discussions about ethics, you know, should we be tracking people that have a fever? Should we be, you know, getting into people's search histories without a warrant, which the FBI can now do? Should we be doing all of these things? And you just got to pay attention to all that stuff, you know? And I mean, I think
you were talking on your podcast about, in general, like whenever the government can take more power and control, they will. And I think you brought up 9/11 as like the last time that happened. And I was thinking about it, like for the average person though, what happened with 9/11? Your airport experience is like a little bit more of a pain in the ass, right? And maybe they're doing more surveillance shit like you talk about, but your day-to-day wasn't really all that altered, right?
Well, it's like, 100%, but it's also like the average white person, right?
Right.
So if you were a Muslim, if you were a guy, if you were in Guantanamo Bay and you didn't do anything wrong, as they estimate, like 60% of them didn't do anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sorry, my bad, guys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So it changed quite a bit, right? Or if you were a Pakistani kid playing soccer and you just saw this death machine flying in the sky and it just blows up a village and you're like, what the fuck? So it's like, for certain people, it didn't change that much, but like, you know, I think we're all, you know, potentially less safe because of what went on after 9/11. Like you look at all these countries that got destabilized, right? Sending all of these refugees across Europe, you know, it's destabilizing all of these countries probably made us in the long term less safe, probably made people a lot of money. So it's like, average American, the airport's annoying. I don't care if you really read my email. You're going to see me curse out to Postmate. Who cares? Right. But what I think we have to look at is like long term, what are the effects of now we can just go to war. No one ever has to explain to us why we're at war. And that happened after 9/11. People were just like, Yeah, man. There's an invisible enemy called terrorism.
Right.
And, you know, and
we got to do
that
it.
was
We
it.
got to go. Yeah.
I was
yeah,
reading
yeah.
an article recently, probably within the last week, that was very interesting, where it was like basically Hollywood even refuses to fight that fight for us, where like the last movie to even address like overreach government surveillance aside from Snowden was fucking Enemy of the State. And they were like, because that was 98. And then 9/11 happened, and everyone could just go, "Well, that's patriotic. It's not patriotic."
Yeah, you're anti-American if you're doing that. Yeah.
There was, what was the one with Ryan Felipe, which was kind of like Bill Gates.
He actually watches. He listens to my podcast, which blows my mind.
Ryan Felipe?
Philippi guy.
Philippi, excuse us.
Animal.
Sorry, Ryan.
Maybe, by the way, maybe it is Felipe.
Oh, it's Felipe.
I have no idea, but that's the certainty of a Long Island sales guy.
Like, I know it's Felipe, and I was like, shit, my bad.
Yeah. I don't even. But he listens to the show, which is it makes me laugh. I just think it's funny.
The podcast with Whitney Webb was
wild.
I've done podcasts where I just kind of posit like conspiracy theories and shit. I think I would have been nervous to publish that podcast if I was you. I feel like you're on like a list now.
Well, maybe, but they don't kill people unless they really have to. That's really the reality.
Well, put it this way, for people who don't know, he did an interview.
If I was the caliber of human being that stood in their way, they would love it. I am so easily co-optable. The CIA could take me to Fridays. Like, it would be so easy. But I mean, just the idea of like, if they just looked at me, like the government was like, who are we up against? And they just looked at me, they would laugh their asses off and go, oh, thank God. Like, the best thing in the world for them is that Whitney Webb is on my show and not the evening news or whatever.
Right. Well, that's true. But I mean, so this podcast, for people who don't know, it's like Whitney Webb's kind of like a rogue reporter who dives into like some deep shit. And you guys were talking about Epstein and Gates and the connection and all these people who are dying and disappearing. But when you ever have to do a podcast where in the beginning you declare, let the record state, I'm not suicidal, you're doing some weird shit, Tim. You're doing some fucked up shit.
The whole thing is, the best podcasts, I think, are like, I used to do a lot of drugs. And I know you're like, no, were you
couldn't be
an athlete? But I did a lot of drugs, actually. I spent a lot of time in cars with my friends on Long Island doing copious amounts of drugs and having really fun conversations. Like, nothing was off limits. You could say whatever you wanted to. And so that's kind of what the show is, where like, I haven't researched Gates. I haven't researched any of this. I'm not going through the fucking things. But Whitney is out there doing research. You can agree with her conclusions. You can disagree with her conclusion. But it's a fucking interesting conversation to have, especially if you're on PCP. Which I suggest you be on some type of mind-altering, weed, whatever.
I was just about the drugs. Have you done PCP?
I've never done PCP.
Okay.
I've done a lot of coke, booze, weed, pills,
the good stuff.
Shrooms, acid. None of that had the psychedelic effect that it did for Joe Rogan, where he was like, it opened his mind and, it made him a better person and it helped discipline him. But like, for me, I did acid and like, I was in that other realm, just, trying to convince the entities to buy condos. Like, none of it worked. Literally, I mean, the last time I did acid, I was in Long Island in the Garden City Hotel on 3 tabs of acid, talking to my friends about like which one of our parents had more money. Like, that's how lost. That's how lost I am. Like, nothing worked. Shrooms didn't work. Like, I would sit on the beach and shrooms. I'd take like an 1/8 of shrooms. Everyone would be in the beach having these experiences. I'd be like, I would never spend this. And the beach isn't private. We could just do this. So I'm missing it on every level.
Well, how is it right now not getting on stage? Are you one of those comics who like needs to be on stage to live, or are you just like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm losing it, man, but I'm accepting it and I'm trying to make the podcast as funny as possible.
Yeah.
I think I do a good enough job like trying to make that funny.
Mm-hmm.
That podcast that I put out every Sunday would be where I get my material for the stage.
Right.
So I would take an idea from that, go on stage in the original room of the Comedy Store at 11:30 or 12 at night, and really try to work that out and try to make that into something that was really funny. And then you would see that, you know, in Nashville and Chicago, wherever I was, in DC, wherever I was on tour. So I have that beginning, like I can still flesh out these funny stories and these funny things, but I miss the stage, man. I miss seeing a lot of my friends. I mean, I'm at Whitney Cummings' studio now. She allowed me to do this. Very sweet. I have a maid at my house. I'm not trying to get corona. So I had Whitney let me do this. But I miss, you know, that was also our social life. Tuesday, Wednesday night at the Comedy Store, you would see D'Elia, Rogan, Kreischer, Theo, you know, Segura, all these people, you know, Joey Coca Diaz, like all these people that, you know, are your friends and your colleagues, and it would be a cool place to hang out. And now it's like, we can't really do that as much.
So is there like like an initiation to that crew? Like you have to be funny enough to roll with that gang?
I think you just got to be funny. I mean, you know, I don't think there's not an initiate. Like I am the poorest of everyone, like by millions and millions of dollars. So I thank God there's not initiation, because I would have had to Uber there. But, you know, they respect if you're funny. And I think if you're doing your own fucking thing, like if you're just not waiting around for opportunities, if you're trying to go out and make your own opportunities, that's why all of those guys love Andrew Schultz, even though he lives in New York, because like Andrew's doing his own fucking thing. He's built a little empire and just creating his own opportunities. So like, that's the ethos here, is kind of like, you know, do your own shit. I make a lot of those videos. I put out a bunch of content on the podcast. Like, so that's what it is. I think it's just, we all respect each other because we're all just hustling, working, all that bullshit.
What about the people who are out here hustling, doing virtual stand-up shows?
I mean, I've suggested that they be arrested.
Exterminated?
I was like, I think you're going to go timid with this take here. No.
It doesn't work. This is what I want these people to understand. It's not, dude, if that was all there was for the rest of time, I would bow out and be like, fuck it. I had a great run. I entertained a lot of people. Stand-up comedy has to be in a fucking room with live human beings. I don't care if they're socially distanced or there's 20% of them or whatever. I performed for 5 people in a coffee house, but it's got to be live human beings. It's never going to be what you want it to be on a fucking Zoom comedy show. It is not the future. It is not going to replace stand-up. It is stupid. And I know that some people have to do it and some people are making money doing it, and I'm not judging those people. I am. But what I'm saying is that it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Now
podcast at this. Just do a podcast, you know?
Right.
Once again, I agree with you. But what's your level of concern that like you're going to be a cold takes exposed in 10 years, like the newspapers who are like, you got to be in the room to talk about sports. You got to interview guys.
I don't care. I'll bow out. Like I have no interest in doing virtual stand-up comedy. I love podcasting. That is my version of it. So if everyone else is doing virtual stand-up comedy, I will podcast and be funny in the way that I'm funny. And if that's cool, that's cool. But I have zero interest in doing a Zoom comedy show from my bedroom and fucking going like in front of my wall, like, hey guys, so the other day, have you ever been in front of the it's stupid. So listen, there's a certain point. If I gotta bow out, I fucking bow out.
That's life in the big city, man, right? I'm interested to think what's your thought on what we should do right now? Should we open back up? Should we stay closed? Like what's your thoughts?
You gotta open up places where you can. It's probably a case by case basis, but you gotta open up. You gotta allow people to go out and earn money. You have to isolate vulnerable people. I mean, this entire thing's been a mess. The whole thing's been a problem. We should have had testing. We're such a high-tech country, you imagine, right? I could press a button and have sushi brought to my house in 25 minutes, but somehow we can't get anyone tested. No. It's weird. It makes you conspiratorial because you're like, we have the money. It's just government's inefficient. Mm-hmm. And the private sector doesn't have any interest in doing anything until the last moment, because there wasn't money in it before it happened, right? Mm-hmm. So we have listen, man, Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi are calling each other names like schoolyard names.
Mhm.
She's calling him fat. He's calling her old. It's like gross or whatever. It's like it's a deeply troubling time. If you pay attention to anything, to just watch that unfold while we're in a depression or we're on the edge of it. And I mean, I hope to God that we avert the worst case scenario, but like, watch, like I want to be one of these people who has even the smallest amount of hope. Like even the people that have the tiniest amount I'm like, where do you get it from? Let me know. I want it.
Right.
Because I just have so little faith in the people that's supposed to lead the country. I don't have any faith in them, right? No matter who they are, red or blue, doesn't matter. Very little faith in them because we're just ungovernable. I get it. I couldn't do it. Could you do it? We're ungovernable.
I mean, our country's preposterous when it's so fucking big. It's so, to compare New York to Alabama to Georgia to LA. It's like they're all different countries.
It's hilarious, but it's ungovernable. I mean, it's very fun. If you accept that we're kind of in a mess, it's very funny to just sit back and have fun and go, yeah, I mean, we have a pandemic. Some people don't believe it's real. Some people think we should stay locked down for the rest of our lives. Some people are afraid of their mail. Donald Trump is
I've been all of those people at one point. By the way.
I've gone through the motions. Yep.
Yeah. Donald Trump is leading the resistance efforts. Some people believe that he's fighting a shadow war against the CIA and he's freeing kids that are in tunnels. I mean, it's just great. It's just exactly the way this country would start to really disintegrate, would be in this way.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the end. It's a wrap in like a year,
It's rough to see how it turns and becomes good.
Yeah, where's that going to come from? How are we going to get back?
Just wait until like we have to decide what to do with the election because like that's probably not going to be able to happen like normal. So
I mean, Joe Biden died of coronavirus 3 months ago, and he's still running. Like Joe Biden is he has dementia. He should be in one of these nursing homes we keep talking about.
Yep.
He's completely incapable of articulating a sentence, and it's the George Carlin bit. It's like, this is the best we can do.
All we got.
This is it.
It's got to be mortifying if you're like a hardcore liberal that you can't win now. You can't trot something better out there. This is the best you got. It's crazy.
There's a lot of money in tech, and you can get things done, right? So in the government, you can't really get anything done. Look at Trump, Obama. They all want to get things done. Nobody gets anything done. If you're Jeff fucking Bezos, you can get things done.
Right.
So if you're a real type A guy or girl or gender not specific, type A, you will go into business or tech or finance and you can get things done as opposed to going into the government where everyone's going to pour over every tweet, everything you've ever done. And even if you get the biggest job in the world, which is the president, there's a limit. Elon Musk can do a lot more for culture than the president of the United States can. The president can start wars, can do all that stuff. But like, if you want to make positive changes in people's lives, I mean, look at your phone. Look at what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. All the changes in our lives. I'm in my mid-30s, 35. You guys probably run the same age. I don't know.
35,
out
yep.
there.
Yep.
All of our life. What's been the biggest change? The iPhone or fucking something Congress did?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a smart, like next level smart, capable of making money, like why the fuck would you ever run for any sort of government? Like my mom is convinced. My mom calls me every day and tells me I have to get Mark Cuban on this show to tell him to run for president. She loves Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban's he's busy on TV being a billionaire, living an awesome life. Why the fuck would you want to be president?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys, Dave Portnoy's rant was seen by more people and was more impactful than anything that's been said on the floor of the Congress or the Senate in the last year.
Which, let me just tell you and other people in case they don't know, Dave's an idiot. He's just as dumb as the rest of us. And he goes on these rants and they go almost too viral where I start to get scared because I'm like, guys, he's dumb too. Don't
I think he's a genius. I think he should buy my podcast. And I think that's the reality. And I just, whatever. I mean, you don't have to, but it would be a good investment. And the point is this. I mean, he's making more news We don't even know these said. By the way, you know what's the funniest thing is like when these like CEOs go in front of Congress and they're like brilliant CEOs and they're fucking us 9 ways. We can't even see where the dick is coming from. And then they're being interviewed by like some shithead from Arkansas that's a congressman who won a pie eating contest, who fucking went to some state school in Georgia, and you're interviewing like a CEO of a company, and they're like smirking and like they're like, yeah, what are you really gonna do? I mean, there's nothing they can do.
My favorite, one of my favorite like congressional clips of the last, I don't know, however many years, was Steve King, the representative in Iowa, asked, I believe it was the CEO of Google, whose name escapes me, but he was like, can you explain to me why when my daughter searches or my granddaughter searches her name on this phone, like I'm evil pops up or whatever? And he's like, Senator, that's an iPhone. We were talking about.
Yeah,
Google.
right.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We're specifically asking about an app on your iPhone. I run Google. We should never be in the same room. Dude.
Well, this is the problem. How do you govern a country where you have that vast difference, right?
Right.
You have a vast difference. You have some guys that are geniuses, some guys that are morons, some people that are, some people that believe in ancient, whatever it is, religious, fundamentalist belief systems, whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever it is, like where some people that are in cults. How do you get everybody together at the table and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. Hey, San Francisco non-binary coder, meet Deep Woods, Arkansas pastor, meet soccer mom from Greenwich, Connecticut, meet jazz musician from New Orleans. Let's all figure out how to have a country. Everybody's got, I was on a jury. And it was a murder trial, murder and torture. And we ended up convicting the guy. I think he was guilty. I didn't pay attention. But I didn't like his eyes. He had beady eyes. So, but being on a jury, you see immediately that it's so hard to govern anything because everybody's dealing with, it's a true vast difference between somebody who's really intelligent and somebody who's just like barely functioning.
Well, that was the last straw for me in this quarantine where I just said, like, I'm just gonna even stop talking about issues. When there was the news clips of the people coming out of church saying, I am bathed in the blood of Christ, so I'm good. I was just like, we cannot talk. We cannot eat, like that makes no sense. It doesn't compute.
Yeah, it doesn't compute. But then the media doesn't compute either because every article the media says is coronavirus. Officials are hopeful. It's the deadliest day of the year. It's like they go, vaccine on its way and also not possible. We won't have one ever. At least they'll be like, hospitals are very busy, but some are closing because no one's going. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. The article in Boston, I understood what the Boston mayor was really saying, but the one article in Boston that said we can't open up the city because nobody has the disease is like, you have to understand how that's going to sound to people. People are, I get it. He means that, we don't have the antibodies. We don't have herd immunity.
Yeah.
But for the average person, they just go, what the fuck are you talking about?
My aunt is like a typical boomer who fetishizes the quarantine. And I'll call her and I'll go, we need to open up. She goes, we don't. What we need to do is stay home. And she's just cocooned in a blanket with a glass of wine, watching CNN while her mind melts, baking bread. And, she's like, stay home. Like this quarantine's been a boon for like cat moms.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like women that are 27, but they're like, I'm a grandma. Like they are like loving baking bread. Look, I made a zucchini. You know what I mean? It's been a boon for narcissistic celebrities who are like, nature's fighting back.
Oh, that's the best. This is the earth cleansing itself. Yeah.
It's a cleansing. It just, you need to listen to your breath. And it's just like,
the earth
some people are enjoying it.
Us. That's what it's doing. The earth is just swallowing all of us whole. And it's
I have friends that are making more on unemployment now than they ever have. They're so happy.
I've read a lot of that.
They don't want a vaccine.
I'm not gonna go back. Like I have friends who are like, I'm probably not gonna go back. Like I don't know the exact breakdown of it, obviously, because I'm not on unemployment right now. But like I have one buddy who's like, dude, I make 80% of my salary right now. And I can't for 2 years or something like that.
Sit at home. Yeah.
He's like, I hate my fucking job. I'm miserable.
I love all the people in New York City that are guilting people for leaving. This is how sick. I'm so happy I'm out of there. And I love New York, but like I'm so happy I'm out of that sick, masochistic relationship people have with that city, because people are like, we're gonna remember the people that fled. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Are they serious about that? Because
Shut
I've seen
up.
that stuff, and I kind of just laughed. I got the fuck out of there in like a week and a half, 2 weeks or
Yeah,
so.
it's like, dude, people want to live. They want to live, okay? They want to get out of that rat hole. Stop. And stop making, listen, Cuomo's done some good things. Let's not pretend he's the guy, he's a meatball. And let's stop pretending he's the most brilliant politician that's ever lived. I don't know, like, everyone's like, he's so inspiring. I watched one of his speeches. I'm like, what retard, sorry, is this inspiring? I mean, the guy is just doing what every politician does, which is go out and he's like, we got to be careful.
Yeah.
We got to, you know, your mother's making sauce. It's like, what? And everybody's like, it shows you how much people want a messiah. Anyone will do. Anyone will do. Like my aunt who hates Trump would suck Cuomo's dick because she's such an idiot that she needs a messiah because she's just on her couch in cloaked in her blanket and just drinking or like they need someone to like lead them out of it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. When that movement started, like write in Cuomo as the Democratic candidate, and I'm like, are we talking about the same fucking guy here? Like he just reading from like a teleprompter. We're not
listen, at this point, run anybody. Run Michelle Obama, run Cuomo, run anyone. At this
anybody
point.
Instead of Biden, right?
Yeah. He's like I agree. He's like all right. He can do full sentences and he has that little inspiration. And it's like you couldn't get someone like that.
Right.
You couldn't get someone like that actually on the ticket. It's that.
Right. Why does that have to be a last second? Oh, wait a minute. What about this guy? Why would we been focused on that?
But then also like you see shit on TV and then like today the report is like him and de Blasio contributed to like 36,000 deaths by not doing a week earlier, the lockdown.
Right. So they're just as fucking stupid. The whole point here, red, blue, left, right, old, young, whatever. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. It's a cheap time to score points.
Mm-hmm.
People should just hopefully, like, I don't know enough about medicine to know anything about what the fuck's going to happen. But I do know this. It's unsustainable to lock the world down until you find a vaccine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't you be so scared though? Because you get one shot. That's it. You get one shot to go. Everyone, you can go outside again. And then if
fuck that up
and gets all fucking sick again, guess what? You're done.
They don't care if people die. Here's what's great about these politicians.
I'm saying
they don't give a shit if people die,
Absolutely
which is
not.
a fun added bonus.
But you will lose your spot though. You will lose your position. They do care about that because they want to be that messiah that your aunt's going to suck their dick.
Right.
They do care about that. But we're living in a time of disassociation. So they can easily convince you that they are not responsible. Our system of government right now, there's so many layers of it. It's so complex that it's like a diffusion of responsibility. It's very like people, anti-lockdown protesters are being egged on by Trump. Who started the lockdown?
Right.
Did the lockdown, and no one knows. Like these people walk around AK-47 like Trump 2020. It's like Trump's the one who started the lockdown.
Right.
No one cares. It's like
my favorite part of those people too is like it's a Venn diagram. Like those guys fighting in Michigan. That's a Venn diagram of the people who are Blue Lives Matter until
right. They put them in a fucking pretzel where all of a sudden they're arguing what they used to hate. Everybody's come full circle. I think it's because down deep, everybody kind of knows this is it. Like I think down deep, people know, and they haven't given into it because then that would be scary, I guess. But I think, or cathartic, I don't know. But I think down deep, we know as a country, we've run the race. It's over.
And it's just kind of about landing the plane now. Yeah. And I think we all know that. So like believing in anything at this point is like.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, people know that it doesn't. I mean, one of our top recording artists last year was the girl who told her mother she would beat her up on Dr. Phil. Star. Bad Baby's a star. Yeah. Why? She threatened to kill her mother on television. Like, what is this going to look like in 50 years? Yeah. You know?
Well, I think it's got to just collapse. Like, I think we've grown too big, and then you tear it down and start.
Well, we got the alternate universe. Is that something?
Right. It's time's going backwards. I just read about that. I'm excited about that.
I got excited, and then I realized that I was reading a article in the New York Post about alternate dimensions. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe this isn't the best source.
Well, the New York Post is a great science department. They source many of their articles from my aunt's Facebook page.
The New York Post, I'm surprised they had time to write that because all they write about is Barstool and Call Her Daddy. They pulled someone off that beat.
Call Her Daddy's the biggest news story in America right now.
It is crazy.
You wouldn't know there's a pandemic. You think Call Her Daddy's the reason we're all locked down. We're on lockdown until the girls from Call Her Daddy get together. But I have one aunt who's like a biology teacher, and I have one aunt who's like a drunk, schizophrenic Facebook poster. So it's very interesting to talk to like each aunt, because one aunt will have like a rational, reasonable thing, and then the other aunt will be like some combination of like, Donald Trump was chosen by Jesus. And I'm like, okay, well, already it's rough.
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate the time. Love the podcast.
Oh, thank you guys.
Get back on stage soon. And anytime you want to come on virtual or otherwise.
You're not going to come here, but I'll tell you what, we'll come to LA. You stay there.
I appreciate it. I appreciate I don't know where you both are. I love that you're in like, you look like you're in like small rooms.
Are you in the bathroom, John? You look like you're in a bathroom.
My bedroom.
All right. I thought
okay. I was like, I hope everything's okay over there. You know, I don't know. But listen,
yeah, I do live on the toilet now that you say it.
It looks like you still on the toilet.
Yeah. And I hope the Call Her Daddy situation, whatever that is, I hope it rectifies itself, because I do believe that is the biggest issue we face right now as a country.
I'm waiting for Trump to address it, you know?
And you know what? I'm sure he will. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one, dude.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, big thanks to Tim Dillon, smart cat, real. It's got to be almost exhausting being that informed.
So that was my first question to him. Like, aren't you tired?
Right.
Were you just like,
fuck.
But he also did say like he stopped being so informed. But
I think he's gonna get killed for the podcast with on Epstein. He was talking.
He was funny about that.
Shit, man.
He was fucking funny. And I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was nervous. Tim's fucking awesome. I'm a big Tim Dillon fan.
So is Steve Wilkos, a real man's man, a guy's guy who has just kind of stumbled ass backwards into a lifelong career on television after being a cop and a Marine, and then his hardest task of all, breaking up fights on the Jerry Springer set. So let's talk to Steve Wilkos about his show and life in general with, I would say, arguably the most famous bald white guy of all time.
He defined the bouncer look.
All right, let's dive right into it. We got Steve Wilkos on the KFC radio show here. I feel like I'm 35. I feel like my generation grew up on Jerry and all these talk shows. And I would say that your look is one of the more memorable looks of my generation. Would you agree?
God, man, you know, when I think about the Springer Show and its heyday, that was over 20 years ago now. So, yeah, if you're 36, a lot of teenagers, I get a lot of people saying they would run home from school to watch the show. Yep. So, yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, I think about it, you know, when I was on the Springer Show, and this is the late 90s, and this is really before everybody had cell phones and Netflix and everything else. It was just TV. And the show is just so crazy popular. I don't think there'll ever be a time like that again, or a show like that again, that everybody in the world watched. I mean, when I say the world, we would go to the Netherlands and London and all these places on publicity tours. And Jerry was like the billionaire. People were going crazy. So, yeah, I can imagine it, you know. And I mean, I was just very fortunate to be part of it.
Do you think, we were kind of talking about this before the show, do you think that you inspired the bouncer look? Because before, like, all I know about bars in the 80s are like Dalton from Roadhouse, right? Like, that's the bouncer, the guy with the long flowing hair, the button down. And now every bouncer, big guy, bald head, black polo. That's just bouncers.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Like, I had my hair very short anyways, because I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years. So when I got out, and I was going balding, so the more bald I got, I was cropping my hair even shorter and shorter. And then one day, the executive producer at the time of Springer, we were in Florida, and we were at Daytona Beach, and we were doing Springer Break. And he said, why don't you just shave your head? You'll be much more recognizable. Because even though, like, I'd say a guy at that time, Michael Jordan, who was, you know, bald and, you know, black guy. He looked good. There wasn't a lot of white bald guys. You know what I mean?
It was like you and Mr. Clean. That was it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was crazy because right after I shaved my head and those episodes started appearing after I shaved my head, and this was before email, like people would write letters into the show, right? Like, postage stamped letters. And I would get stacks and stacks of mail. And it like just shaving the head, man, it kind of just exploded.
Dude, Steve Wilkos is the first bald is beautiful guy. You're a legend for a million reasons, but that's a big one to have.
That is a huge movement right now. In quarantine at our company, I think we've had like 4 guys who are going balding, just said fuck it and went with the Bic, and they brought it on home. So I feel like you started a revolution, bro.
Well, it's like it is traumatic because I remember this girl used to cut my hair, and she would, like, after the cut hair, she'd take the mirror and she went real fast behind me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, slow down,
Right.
And then like and this was before I was on TV, and then I would watch an episode that like maybe I was on in the episode a lot of the Springer Show, and I would see this huge plate on the back of my head. Like, I'm like, oh my God, am I going so bald, And I kept, like I said, I kept cropping my hair down. People were calling me the Skull. They're like, hey, Skull, because I had my hair so short. And then, like I said, hey, man, why am I even bothering with this? And shaved my head literally gave me a career path. So worked out really well.
It's funny, the butterfly effect on things. How do you even end up going from Marine Corps? Like, were you trying to eventually have your own show, which you do now? Or were you just literally doing security? Like, is this serendipity or what?
No, it's, my dad was a paratrooper in the Army during the Korean War, and my dad was a cop. So, growing up in Chicago, I didn't know anybody that went to college. Nobody in my family ever went to college. So it was get on a city job and, maybe go in the military. And I really looked up to my dad. My dad was this big, imposing, tough guy, and I wanted to be like him. And so that was my career path. I was in the Marines. I got out, and I was going to be a Chicago police officer for 30 years, get my pension, and, just do what my dad did. And so I'm probably the only person ever in television history that didn't try to get in TV, never auditioned to be in TV, and just went to work security, and they gave me my own show without ever trying or ever wanting that.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that, though, because like that's probably rare for that era, because you did have to audition and want it. But it's actually very like new age, where people are getting famous and getting their own shows just because they're being themselves. And like the internet is doing that. But for you, I mean, Jerry Springer was kind of everybody's original guilty pleasure. It was kind of like where you got your internet content before the internet was a thing. I remember being like a teenage kid thinking, I'm going to watch Howard Stern, Wild on E, and Jerry Springer to get like a little bit of sex, a little bit of TNA.
Wild on E, man. I forgot about that show. I forgot about Wild on E. I used to watch that too.
The best.
Yeah.
So now, like, you're hosting your own show, and it's kind of like, what would you call it? Like the pupil becoming the master sort of thing? Does Jerry bust your balls about being a host, or what's the vibe?
Oh, he don't bust my balls because he gets a nice big fat paycheck every year from spinning me off. So I think he's very happy with the success of my show. I don't think so when they said to me, we're giving you your own show, right? I was terrified, right? Because like my role on the Springer Show just happened so kind of organically, and it happened in very small increments that I never had stage fright because the focus never was really on me. And I was second banana. There was no pressure on me to perform, nothing like that. So when it came to me and said, hey, you're getting your own show, I was terrified, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And like, I really thought, oh my God, I'm going to be doing like a Jerry Springer show, so much fun, hot chicks showing their boobs, silliness. And then No, man. I'm still doing what I did when I was a cop. I'm dealing with child molestation.
I know it's heavy shit, Steve.
Yeah.
It's no fucking
So
joke.
it kind of was like a downer for me, you know, because I'm like, I thought it'd be like I'd be having fun like Jerry with my own show, and like I enjoy my show, but it certainly is nothing like the Jerry Springer show.
Do you think you're one of the first guy after the guys who's worked? Because you started hosting, you covered for Jerry while he was on Dancing with the Stars, right? And
Right.
then he said that you should take over Mondays, was it?
That's interesting. I don't know how you know that, but not a lot of people do. But yeah, so like when they came to be when Jerry went on Dancing with the Stars, they thought he'd be the first one voted off, right? So they thought like, okay, 1 week of shows, which at the time I think we did three shows a day or something. So that, and it was 3 days a week. So I would end up doing like 9 shows. Well, he ended up being on the show for 5 weeks or 6 weeks. So I ended up doing a lot of shows. When those shows aired, they rated really well. Okay. So, you know, and when they told me I was going to host, I said, hey, so what are you going to pay me? And they're like, pay you? What are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm security. I'm not the host of the show. So like I had to fight to get extra money to host the show, but they finally agreed to it. So like Jerry then was like, hell, man, I could take a day off. You know, he had a place in Florida, in Chicago. So he's like, hey, man, I want to take Monday off, which I would love to do. Like, I'd like to say to somebody, hey, will you cover the show Tuesday? And I still get my same pay.
Right.
You know, so for me, it was, you know, I think like doing a hosting show came out to like, if I did a whole day's, it was like an extra $5,000 in my pocket. Like if I did Mondays for Jerry, which $5,000 for me back then was a lot of money, you know, for a day's work.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, yeah, Jerry, you know, I'll do Mondays, you know. So it was interesting because that second year when I ended up doing a lot of Mondays for Jerry, that really, I think, convinced NBC like, hey, this guy could do it. Let's give him his own show.
That's like you they always say, like, you don't want to be the guy after the guy, right? Like Jarrett Stidham's in a tough spot right now with Brady. There was the guy after Francesa, I forget who it was because he lasted so little. You're one of the few. It's like Steve Wilkos and Steve Young are the 2 guys after the guy who worked.
You know, it's funny. So when my show got launched, I had to go to LA and they do all this media and you sit in this room with all the TV reporters and everybody. And those guys were laughing at me, man. They're like, you're not going to last 13 weeks. Because back then it was like 13-week pickup. Like if you made it past the first 13 weeks. And they're like, you're Jerry Springer's bodyguard. Who would give Jerry Springer's bodyguard a TV show? Like it was so ridiculous. And now I just signed for 2 more years. So I'm going to be on the air for 15 years of my own show.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, that like in that realm where it's all about the weird and the bizarre, that story makes a lot more sense than like the traditional story, right?
You know, and it's funny. I think about like, you know, I see like coming this fall, like Drew Barrymore's getting a daytime talk show. Nick Cannon, you know, I mean, how many shows does Nick Cannon get? Like, you know, like, why not bring somebody like me again? Like, they're not giving anybody new. Like, you know, when I got my show, I was 42 years old. Not that that's young, but it's young in TV. You know what I mean? Because like most people like getting shows during their 50s or whatever. You know, why are the just retreads like they try to bring back Arsenio Hall and Ricky Lake? It's like, why? There's nobody else out there you can give a show to? Like,
no, but you know what? At the same time, too, like nostalgia in that realm plays a big deal. Like I think about Maury Povich, I think about Jerry Springer, and it brings back my.
But those guys have stayed on the air the whole time, right?
Right. That is the difference.
Like,
right.
I was with Ricky Lake out in Idaho for the bodybuilding.com site. They flew us out there, and I was talking to her, and like, you know, she was coming back, and she just like, I think the attitude was like, oh, well, my fans from 10 years ago are just going to flock back to me and watch my show. No, man, when you're out of the public eye, you're done. Because people move on, especially in daytime, right? I'm not talking about like, you know, like in sitcoms and big shows that people, you know, they go here and there and they're big stars. daytime TV is a totally different animal. And once you're gone and you're out of that sight, people move on. They find other things, you know. So they and their tastes have changed. Like I'm sure people that watched Ricky Lake were young girls. Well, now they're mothers with kids and everything else.
Right.
And it just it didn't work. And Arsenio Hall, that thing was a disaster. I mean, I don't get it.
So wait, all right, then tell me this. Let's say we fast forward 10 years, 20 years from now, whatever. And you've retired, and they come back to you with a big fat bag of cash. Are you going to say no?
In 20 years, I'm going to be 76 years old. I would hope.
You
By
look
the time
great.
right, but I'm saying when I'm 76, like Jerry's 76, right? Maury, I think, is 80 or 81.
Shit.
And like, I get it. Like, my dad hated when he retired. He told me, he goes, never retire. It's the worst thing in the world. You're bored out of your mind. But like, my dad was a cop and he didn't have a lot of other things going on.
Yeah.
I would hope in 20 years that I'm not going to want to work anymore. I would hope. Like, the thing with, and I say this, I think guys like Maury and Jerry enjoy being a big star. And, you know, like, oh, there's Jerry Springer this morning. I keep the lowest profile, man. I go to my club, I play golf. I have a lake house I go to at my house here. I don't go anywhere, man. I don't want to meet people. I don't want to talk to strangers. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, and I don't care about being famous. And my wife will tell you all the time, it's like, even guys that met me, they're like, oh, is he? They're like, no, man, he doesn't care.
This is why it works.
Talk show, and you don't want to meet people or talk to strangers?
Yes. I'm in it for one reason only.
Yes, that's what's up.
And when people say, right? Like I hate when athletes, oh, it's not about the money, or like when Albert Pujols signed with the Angels, oh, God directed to sign with the Angels. Come on, no. $240 million directed you to sign.
I mean, yeah, if you're talking about you don't want to be around people, not only are you constantly around people, you are around the skells of society, Steve. I mean, there's got to be days
when I'm at work. I mean, seriously, my circle, my world is very, very small. And it's really revolves. Like my son plays baseball and he's on a lot of teams. So I interact with parents, like when I go and people recognize me and they come up to me. So then I'm kind of out. But I really shelter myself from the public because I don't drink anymore. I got a DUI, so I don't drink anymore. I don't do things like that. I don't go anywhere. Like me and my wife, we don't even like going out to dinner, man. We go to the club because I have to spend my minimum every 3 months. But that's it, man. Like we don't like. I love being in my house, man.
Dude, I don't know if I was gonna. I think you're my idol, Steve Wilkos. I mean, what you're laying out is like the exact life I want to live, bro.
Yeah, and I have a really good life, man. Like I have a successful wife, and I think she's very attractive. I got 2 great kids.
These are Doritos, right?
I just ate a bag. I just finished right before I got
that was there was a clip on Twitter you talking
She's
about.
My Dorito. She's my Doritos. Yeah. And the point of that was, I don't know why. I just saw that clip, and it was like this young guy who's like 18 years old. He's getting married, and I'm like, so you're like, it's like opening a bag of Jay's chips, and that's the only chip you're ever gonna taste in your whole life. Like, no, man. When I was in my 20s. I was trying to sleep with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, that's not for everybody, but it was for me. And I just can't, when I married my wife, I was 36 years old, and I'd been with a lot of people, and that was my point. And, like, I found the greatest tasting chip that I can eat that chip for the rest of my life.
That is the most goddamn romantic story I've ever heard, Steve Wilkos.
I have a question for you, Steve. If let's say, right, that the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee come to you and say, Steve Wilkos, 2020 election season, we want you to host a debate. Would you do it?
Oh, I would love to. I don't think I'm qualified to do it, but I would love to host the debate.
Steve, I think you're overqualified, pal.
Have you looked around? Qualifications don't matter anymore, bro.
Yeah, I guess not. But I would certainly, and I'll say this: I'm a very conservative guy. I was a military cop. I lean Republican. You know, I would love to be the moderator of the debate, especially I would have liked to have been the moderator of some of these Democratic debates for sure.
Get the whole crowd with Steve. Well, you mentioned, obviously you mentioned a couple times, but the Marines and the cops, that always struck me as similar with your, like you had a locker room mentality in all your careers. Was that similar to that when you were the security guard at Springer? Like, would you guys get back after the show and be like, "Oh boy, tough beat tonight"?
No, you know what? Like I said, I wish we could certainly sit here for hours and talk about the Springer Show. That was like being in high school, getting paid a lot of money, and you would go to work and there was no rules on the Springer Show. There wasn't really any format. Like, there's a basic script of, okay, this is what the show's going to be about. But it would just blow up, and we would just literally run around on stage and pull each other's pants down. I mean, that's what was crazy about that show. Is like, to me, it was the funnest time of my life because there was, like, even with my show now, there's rules and all these lawyers. And, oh my God, it's like, but the Springer Show back then, there was no HR person, there was no lawyers on the scene. We were in Chicago. We were on like a little island. Everybody was either in New York or LA, so they left us alone. And we literally did whatever we wanted. It was great.
Before we let you go, what's like the worst Springer, not worst, but like craziest fight or silliest scene that you ever experienced?
I was talking about this yesterday, and I'm going to tell you quickly two quick funny stories. And one is not so much even to do with what was happening on stage. So our old executive producer, he was kind of a nut, and he when there was a fight on stage, he wanted everybody standing and screaming, So he would yell at the stage manager, "Get the crowd going, get the crowd going." Well, he noticed one guy across the whole audience was not standing, and he's like, "Tell that motherfucker to stand up," he's screaming at the stage manager. And the stage manager is screaming across, going, "Stand up, stand up." And I'm standing on the side. The dude's in a wheelchair, he has no legs. and he yells, he goes, "I can't stand up, I got no legs." And I literally almost pissed on myself. And then the other, it was not funny for the guy, but we didn't want people to be like, "Oh, I'm hurt," laying on the ground, because that wasn't good for the show. Like, right. Get back up, get back in there, keep fighting, So the one dude goes, "Man, I can't get up, I broke my leg." I go, "Bullshit, get your ass up." He goes, "No, I really think my leg's broke." He peels back his jeans, and the bone is sticking to his skin. And I'm like, oh, So
dude.
me and another guy, we dragged him off backstage.
Can you imagine having a fucking impaled bone for the Jerry Springer Show? Holy shit! Talk about not worth it.
So that's what people say to me. They're like, "Oh, those fights were fake." Now, I'm sure some of them were, but I would say 95% of them when I was on the show. I can't speak to when I left the show. Yeah. But when I was on that show, I had a concussion. I tore my groin. I mean, I suffered 2 back surgeries. There was guys that, hey, when another dude is sleeping with your wife, you're motivated to kick some ass, man. Yeah. So there was a lot of bullshit going on when I was there.
Wow. I imagine there were times when the crowd was even rowdier, because you said Chicago. Did you work were you still there when they were in Stanford?
When I moved to Stanford, I was already on my own show.
Oh, okay. I remember when I was in college, we would have like kids would basically take a bus to Stanford, because like buses would go in for the Springer Show, and they would just party on the bus and show up shit-faced. And I imagine like a lover's quarrel on stage with a bunch of drunk sorority girls in the crowd is chaos.
So here's another crazy story. So this was in Chicago, and we had much bigger audiences, obviously in Chicago, because we were on Michigan Avenue. You had all the tourists that would come to the show. So, like you said, the people from the audience, that not only we had to worry about the people on stage, you did have to worry about some dickhead in the audience. So one time, this guy, he's mad about something happened on stage. I don't know how you get so upset. It's not towards you. He picks, and we had the metal folding chairs, right? This dude picks up the metal chair. He comes, and you see him, like, we watched it later after, we done taping, and he swings the chair, like a million miles an hour, swings it, and it goes right over the top of my security guy's head, another one of my guys that worked for me. I mean, he would have decapitated him if he would have hit him. And I'm like, holy shit, and we took that guy backstage, and we had a little talking with him.
I was gonna say you give that guy the business, right? That's a fucking blanket party.
It's funny because one time it was like the first year of my show, and this one guy, he just kept getting it. Like he ran off stage and was a bad dude, and he was like probably killed his girlfriend's kid. That's how the story was so serious.
Fuck, Steve. Jesus Christ.
He kept getting up in my face. He goes, "Oh, you're a pussy, Steve. You're a pussy. You're a pussy." And I had enough because that first season, man, I was out of my mind. I was taping all the time. I was going on the streets of Chicago, taping until 2 o'clock in the morning. I worked like a dog. So when this guy kept doing it, I finally said, cut the cameras, cut. I go, take him in the green room. And it was like that scene from Bronx Tale where the bikers are in there causing all the trouble. And then he goes, no, you can't leave. So I go in there. Now there's no cameras. And I'm like, what now? You got something to say? Do I smell like pussy now? And let's just say you ain't going on a Dr. Phil show and Dr. Phil's kicking your ass, okay?
Right.
That's never going to happen. Rachel Ray's never going to come in the green room and give you a beating.
That's how you promo a fucking show, Steve Wilkos. You are a goddamn professional.
That would never happen, and it certainly would never happen today.
Never.
But I'm just saying, nobody ever left any other talk show and said, Ellen DeGeneres came in my groom room and kicked my ass.
Well, Ellen DeGeneres, they might be. I've been reading those stories. They might be saying that about Ellen.
Oh, I know. She's getting some bad press. But, hey, you know what? I always say, when you're in the public eye, people are going to take shots at you. Who cares? Roll with it. She's got all the money in the world. She's got a smoking hot wife. Who cares?
Like you said, dude, do it for this.
Right.
Got those Doritos.
Right.
Not everybody's going to like you. And that happened way before I was on TV. So.
Well, congrats on all the success. I hope you do a run until you're 80 or however long you want to do it. Thanks for all
76, then hit the club.
76.
Have a good one, dude.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Take care, guys.